Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Sunday night. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight we'll be doing some Bible study. We're in the great book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Join me if you will. Amanda, hi, how are you? She says, hi, Jack. Good to see you all. Good evening, Jake. How are you tonight, love? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Well, I had a great weekend. How about yourself? Margie, hey, there you are. Long time no see. Lisa Reen, big love, one and all. Hiya. Margie says, hi, all. And Amanda says, hi, Margie. Amanda, you get the gold star, and here's your gold star. Amanda says, hi, Lisa Reen. How are you tonight? Fantastic. Got a nice group of folks ready for some Bible. I love it. Makes me feel good. Tonight's episode is brought to you by this hot cup of coffee and my mustache. How is everybody? Did you have a good weekend? Do you feel good? Are you happy? Are you well fed? Are you rested? Are you ready for Monday? I'm not. I don't like Mondays. Mondays are terrible, but that's okay because we got Bible study Monday night. That'll make it better. It's been a good weekend. A little rainy, but good. Doing well, says Lisa Reen, chowing down on a pork chop and applesauce. Well, there's a flavor combination for you. Pork chop sounds good. You know what I like? I like pork chop sandwiches the next day. That's good. Love a good pork chop sandwich. Delicious. Slap some mayonnaise on there, some toast, a big old hunk of pork chop, fried pork chop, battered. My sister gave me this cup for my birthday. What do you think? Or Christmas. One of the two. So close together, it doesn't even matter. I like your glasses, Jake. They look good on you. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I have a few pair. These look less crooked on my face than the other ones do. That's why I'm wearing them. Because I got a crooked face. Everybody says I got a crooked smile. No, my smile is straight. My face is crooked. How are you? How are your glasses? This is a variation on the shirt I wore last podcast, which was purple. This one is gray, and I just noticed I have a white spot on my face. I don't know if that worked, but everybody got a good finger anyway. You're just going to have to deal with it. It's a bright spot. Can't help it. Kevin Cox, what's up, brother? Hey, Amanda. Hey, brother. Howdy. April says, new and need to be adjusted again, LOL. Your glasses? Yep. Stop flipping us off, right? Apparently, I had missed a ink spot on my face from work, but I can't do much about it now. Just going to have to live with it. Hi, Kevin, says Amanda. Lisa Reen says, LOL. Kevin says, hey, Lisa Reen. Margie, how you doing tonight? You're not saying much. How's the world treating you? You having a good time? Did you have a good Christmas? Hopefully, all in all. I don't think we've talked to you since Christmas. Can't remember. Hello to April's favorite, Margie, says Kevin. Oh, so sweet. Tonight we're going to learn about King Cyrus, king of Persia. Cyrus was a very eventful guy. A lot of people have compared our previous president to King Cyrus in his way of doing things. I'll leave that to your judgment, but that the comparison has been made, and he was quite an interesting king, and he did quite a lot for society in the way that we do things today. A lot of things we do today are parallels of what he set in motion back then. So King Cyrus is quite an interesting fellow. I think you'll like him. I'm getting hearts all over the place. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, love you guys too, says Margie. This is one big lovey podcast. Lots of people love lots of people. It's wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to hang out with every week. It means a lot. I hope you guys are excited and happy. Hope you're ready to get into it. Kevin, how was your weekend? Sports update, says Kevin. The Tampa Buccaneers beat the Carolina Putty Cats and are in the playoffs. Miami playoffs later tonight, but it has clinched a playoff spot. Go Bucks and Fins. Back to you, Bob. I sure do miss my Kevin Cox graphic. Can't wait to get back on the internet and get that going, which will be sometime in the next month or so, but I don't know exactly when. I did find a new provider. I just have to do it. I haven't done it yet. Back to you, Amanda, says Kevin. Amanda. But of course, my favorite Christmas present is hanging on the wall right there. I'd show it to you, but I'd have to get it off the wall. You already know what it looks like. It's red, shiny. Amanda says, "Go Bucks. I fell asleep on the game today. Must not have been very exciting." I fell asleep on a video last night learning about Bigfoot and the Anunnaki and how we were all spliced in DNA and became people from the Anunnaki from planet Nibiru to mine gold. It was quite riveting, and I fell asleep immediately because it's nonsense. I was just tired, says Amanda. I bet. What is the Bible study on tonight? I listen while watching football. Kevin, tonight we're talking about King Cyrus in the great book of Ezra. Lisa Reen says, "Kevin, are you on April's phone again? Because yours is dead." CWL, what's up, brother? Good to see you. That video puts me to sleep as well. You know the one I'm talking about? It's good to go to sleep to because it's utter nonsense and I don't have to pay attention. So, Amanda says, "Hi, CWL." And as long as you're listening, Kevin, that's all that matters, buddy. Participate at your peril, but as long as you're here listening, I'm happy with that. Even if you are watching football on the sly. Tomorrow night at 7:30 is the national championship game, Washington at Michigan. Go Huskies. All right, Kevin. CWS says, "Yeah, I've tried to watch it, but I get about 10 minutes in and I start yawning." Yes. Yeah, I think this is my professional opinion as an authority on the subject, but it is an opinion nonetheless. Zachariah Sitchins was full of dog poopy. He made everything up. Because, and I've thought about this for a long time, if you were to believe that the events that occurred back then were true, like something happened and the whole world witnessed it. Now, what that something is irrelevant. But if you believe that something occurred in those days, i.e. the things we talk about in the Bible, and everybody saw it, then albeit from their perspective, everybody should be writing about the same events. Might call it something different, might look at it from a different angle, might think it's something entirely different. Some might think it's a god, some might think it's an angel, some might think it's an alien, but they all will be talking about the same events. Nothing in Zecharia Sitchin's writings describes anything that's happening in the Bible. Some of it vaguely uses the same words, but we're talking about different events. Nowhere in the Bible does it talk about people mining gold, unless you're talking about Solomon's mines, and that's a different thing entirely, but not to the extent that the Anunnaki are having us do it. So, yeah, it's all nonsense. Nothing else on earth corroborates that story. Nothing. Everything on earth corroborates the Bible story in one way or another. That's why I choose to believe this one, because this is the only one I've found evidence to back it up in the real world. There's lots of stories out there, by the way, lots of different versions of reality, but only one of them you can find evidence to back it up everywhere you look. That's why I teach it. CWO says, just like L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, yeah, if I'm going to have a religion, I prefer my God to be at least 2,000 years old and not be named Ron. You know what I'm saying? I prefer my God to not have a driver's license and a social security number. Just put it that way. Hard to believe in that God. I've looked into Scientology to some degree, a little bit, not a much. Enough to know, okay, I'm out. Yeah, that's not my thing. No offense to anyone out there who is a Scientologist. It just ain't my thing. Kevin says, my phone is back for the moment. I need to get it fixed. I busted it pretty good when I was told my dad died. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Evening, Dennis. Good to see you, buddy. I'm sorry about that. Kevin, you're allowed a phone. I've been pretty mad. I ain't never chunked mine before, but I can imagine this scenario happening. So Amanda says, hi, Dennis. All right, we got a crowd. Folks, if you got your Bibles handy, crack them open to the great book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1, and it reads, Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah the prophet might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith King Cyrus of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? How many people here at this gathering believe in God? Whoever those people are, he says, his God be with him. And let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, twice for emphasis, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God, period, which is in Jerusalem. Now, this is a very straightforward proclamation from the biggest king on the planet at this time. There have been kings bigger, but he's pretty big at this moment. And he's telling all his people, he's got everybody gathered together, and he's telling them all, whoever among you are of God, then God be with you. Get to Jerusalem and build the temple back. And remember, the temple's already been built. It was destroyed. And now it's going to be rebuilt by Cyrus. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. So what he's saying there is help each other out. If everybody goes to build the house of God, while you're there, make sure all of you get taken care of. Don't let one man be there trying to give his labor to this project and not eat because he doesn't have any money. Give him what he needs. Take care of each other. This is not communism. This is teamwork. This is of will, because you're also obligated to give to the church of the free will offering, which is what you do with me. You give me what you think you want me to have. That's called a free will offering, or a love offering is what we call it nowadays. So that's what he's talking about here. That's that same kind of offering, not a tithe per se, just whatever you can give if you feel like giving. That's a free will offering. So he says, besides that, you do that. But besides that, help out everybody if they need help with whatever they need help with, whether it be beasts or goods or gold or silver, whatever they need, be there for them, which is pretty good thinking in those days. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God has raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. How many times has it said that now? 3 or 4 times for emphasis. It is, in fact, in Jerusalem. More specifically, it's on Mount Zion in Jerusalem, which is not the Dome of the Rock, just so you know. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts and with precious things, beside all that was willingly offered. So they followed the advice of the king. They did help each other out. They all banded together and made sure that everybody could be taken care of while they took this journey to Jerusalem to build this house, which is, I've worked on construction crews where we all shared a motel, go down to, say, Homestead during the Hurricane Andrew. I was there for about 9 months, something like that, working in that area. And we all shared a motel room. We all took care of each other. We went community and bought groceries, and we made sure everybody ate and had a place to sleep. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. You can call this per diem. That's, for lack of a better word, usually comes from a company. In this case, it came from within. They took care of each other. But it is their will to make this thing happen that's important. Also, Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and put them in the house of his gods. Nebuchadnezzar did that. Cyrus has beaten Nebuchadnezzar and has taken over that area, and so now it's his purview what to do with these things, and he's aware that all of this riches came from Jerusalem. He's going to put it back, because that's what a good king does. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by hand of Mithridath, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, prince of Judah. So the people that were there doing the treasury, keeping track of all the goods that were brought out of Jerusalem, he took them and sent them with the treasure to Jerusalem and gave them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. And this is the number of them: 30 chargers of gold, 1,000 chargers of silver, 29 knives, 30 basins of gold, silver basins of a second sort, 410, and other vessels, 1,000. That's how many things were taken out of the temple that these people were charged to look over. All the vessels of gold and of silver were 5,400. All these did Sheshbazzar bring up with them of the captivity that were brought up from Babylon under Jerusalem. So they were returned to their rightful place. Now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity, of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city, which came with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Reliah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mizpar, Bigvai, Rehum, Bana, the number of the men of the people of Israel, the children of Pharaoh, 2,172. So that's 2,172 people. The children of Shephatiah were 372. The children of Ara were 775. The children of Pahathamob, of the children of Jeshua and Joab, 2,812. The children of Elam, 1,254. The children of Zatu, 945. The children of Zekiah, 703 score. That's 20, 40, 60. That's 760. The children of Bani, 642. The children of Bebai, 623. The children of Azgad, 1,222. The children of Adonikam, 666. Take note. Adonikam, Adonikim, Adonai, Adonis. See what I'm going with? Same guy. His children numbered 666. There's only 2 times in the Bible that this number is attributed to a person. And you should take note every time it happens. So take note. From this bloodline will come other things later in the Bible, things that are important, things that change the nature of humanity, things that happen, say, at Armageddon, in the valley of Megiddo, which we've talked about. These people, pay attention to those people. The children of Bigvai, 2,056. The children of Adin, 454. The children of Hezekiah and the children of Ater of Hezekiah, I guess that's Hezekiah's son or daughter, 90 and 8. The children of Bezai, 323. The children of Jorah, and 112. The children of Hashum, 223. The children of Gabar, 90 and 5. The children of Bethlehem, and 123. The children of Netophah, 56. The men of Anathoth, and 128. The children of Asmaveth, 42. The children of Kirjath-Jearim, Sephariah, and Beeroth, 743. The children of Ramah and Gaba, 621. The men of Michmas, and 122. The men of Bethel, that means the house of God, and Ai, 223. The children of Nebo, 50 and 2. The children of Magbish, and 156. The children of the other Elam, there's 2 Elams, so keep that in mind, 1,254. The children of Haram, 320. The children of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 725. The children of Jericho, 345. And notice some of these names you recognize because they've had cities named after them, and things occur in those cities because of who's there. So it's kind of important to know who's who and where they're going. All right. The children of Sinah, 3,630. The priests, the children of Jediah of the house of the priests, the children of Jediah of the house of Jeshua. Try to say that 3 times real fast. 973. The children of Immer, 1,052. The children of Pashur, 1,247. The children of Harim, 1,017. The Levites, these are important group of people. The children of Jeshua and Kadmiel of the children of Hodaviah, 74. The singers, the children of Asaph, 128. The children of the porters, the children of Shallum, the children of Ater, the children of Talmon, the children of Akub, the children of Hatita, the children of Shobiah, in all, 139. The Nethinims, the children of Ziha, the children of Hashupah, the children of Taboth, the children of Keros, the children of Saya, the children of Padan, the children of Labana, the children of Hagabah, the children of Akub, the children of Hagab, the children of Shalmai, the children of Hanan, the children of Gideon, the children of Gahar, the children of Reah, the children of Rezin, the children of Nekoda, the children of Gazim, the children of Uzzah, the children of Paseah, the children of Besai, the children of Ashna, the children of Mahunim, the children of Nepushim, the children of Bakbuk, there's a B in there, the children of Hakupah, and the children of Harher, the children of Bazluth, the children of Mahida, the children of Harsha, the children of Barkos, the children of Sisera, where we get the word Sicily, the children of Thema, the children of Neziah, and the children of Hatipa. Sometimes I read things backwards. You just have to deal with it. I don't know these people personally. I'm reading their names just like you are. I would defy you to get a camera and say all of them without tripping over your tongue. First try. I know who they are, though. Do you? All right. The children of Solomon's servants. Those are, no, keep in mind, this is kind of long and drawn out, so you probably have forgotten already what we're talking about. These are the children of the people who were taken captive into Babylon. So they've been there a while. They've had children there. So all of these people are returning home to Jerusalem and to Judah proper because they've never been home. They were raised in Babylon. These are the children of the people that were taken captive, a lot of which have already died. These are Solomon's servants. Solomon was a king a while back, a good king, but there's been quite a few since him, and they weren't so good. So that's why they ended up where they were. No, I don't know who they all are, says Lizarine. It takes quite a lot of study to find out where all these bloodlines come from, but you can, if you know how to look, trace them from the Garden of Eden to Revelations and know where all of these people came from. I don't know all of them, but I know a good fair amount of them. And I know enough to know that this whole book is about one family, and it weaves in and out of their lives, but it's one family from start to finish that we're talking about. One big family. The children of Solomon's servants, the children of Sotai, the children of Sepharith, the children of Peruda, the children of Jalha, the children of Darkon, the children of Gideel, the children of Shephatiah, the children of Hattil, the children of Pokereth, the children of Zebaim, and the children of Amy. That's A-M-I, not A-M-Y. There's no song about this Amy. And all the Nethinims and the children of Solomon's servants were 392. And these were they which went up from Telmelah, Telharsha, Cherub, Adan, and Immer. But they could not show their father's house and their seed, whether they were of Israel. These are people that were there, but they had no idea who they were. They knew where they came from, but they don't know what family they belonged to for sure. They might have said, well, we were children of Benjamin. Well, do you have any proof of that? Not really. We've been captives for a while, so we don't really have any proof. They didn't have DNA tests in those days. But they did keep a close watch on their bloodline, so they knew who most everybody was. But it's nice that they include this, because this adds an air of credibility to what they're saying to you, because you would expect that if a group of people were held captive for 100 or so years and then come out the other side of it, they would have no proof of their heritage, or some might not even know what that heritage is unless they kept it strong within the confines of their captivity. So it's nice that they're adding a group of people here that they don't know who they are. These are just people. They could be anybody. This is where they came from, but they couldn't show their father's house or their seed, whether they were of Israel. Don't know if we're talking about people who are of the 12 tribes or not. The children of Deliah, the children of Tobiah, the children of Nekoda, 652. And of the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, the children of Koz, the children of Barzillai. Barzilla. There's a lady named Barzilla. I just want you to know that. Might be a dude. Anyway. Barzillai. Which took a wife, I guess it's a dude, of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and were called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, meaning they didn't actually belong, but they said they did, so they went and found the people they said they belonged to and spoke to them about being numbered as one of that family. So, but they were not found, so they didn't get found. In other words, their genealogies did not line up. Therefore, were they as polluted, put from the priesthood, meaning they couldn't be priests because they couldn't prove their lineage. This is further evidence of how important this was and how seriously they took it. You had to be who you said you were, and you had to prove it, because you couldn't be part of this priesthood or part of this group unless you were of this family. For example, this is very important. A Levite can touch the Ark of the Covenant, but no one else can. If you're not Levite and you say you're Levite and you get in amongst the ranks, the minute you get tasked with touching the Ark of the Covenant, you're going to die. And then everybody's going to know you were a fake. So they take that very seriously. And the Tirshatha said unto them that they should not eat of the most holy things till there stood up a priest with a Urim and Thummim. What is a Urim and Thummim? We've been through this. A Urim and Thummim is a little box, and in the box is a little rock, or two rocks. One is white and one is black, or it's a white on one side and black on the other, depends on how you look at it. They shake the box up and then ask God a question. And then they reach in and pull out a rock. And if white means yes and black means no, or vice versa. And this is a magic 8-ball of sorts. Did God tell them to build one of these? I don't know. But I do know there was one included on the breastplate of the high priest in the original temple when the ark was first put in the tabernacle. And they did use them for a little while. They kind of fell out of favor and stopped talking about it about halfway through the Old Testament, and they aren't mentioned again. But the Urim and Thummim, that's what it is. It's a device to talk to God, to ask simple questions of God, an average person. And they did use that. Now, I think this was a superstitious device, but they had them, and they're recording that they had them, and they reasoned in this day that unless they could ask God who these people are, we can't involve them in any of this. So they left it to, well, let's find somebody that's got a Urim and Thummim and ask God, and then we'll put you in where you belong. But we can't let you in the priesthood because we can't prove your lineage. So let's leave it to the man upstairs. Let's kick it upstairs and see what happens. It's basically what they're saying here. The whole congregation together was 42,303 score. That's 20, 40, 60. Besides their servants and their maids, of whom were 7,337. And there were among them 200 singing men and singing women. Their horses were 736, their mules 245, their camels 435, their asses 6,720. And some of the chief of the fathers, when they came to the house of the Lord, which is at Jerusalem, make sure you remember that part, it's very important, offered freely for the house of God to set it up in his place, that they gave after their ability unto the treasure of the work 61,000 drams of gold, and 5,000 pounds of silver, and 100 priests' garments. So they were, setting the place up, making sure it had what it needed to keep going. These are rich men that have a lot of means, a lot of resources, and they're making sure that everybody gets what they need to build this house and to make sure that it runs smoothly. So these are like benefactors of the temple of God. So the priests and the Levites and some of the people and the singers and the porters and the Nethinims dwelt in their cities, and all Israel in their cities. And when the 7th month was come, the children of Israel were in the cities. The people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. They all came at one time, making sure that they were ready to work. They came girded and loined and ready to go. That sounds right. Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, which means God's peace. And his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God. And they set the altar upon his bases, which no doubtably were returned to Jerusalem via Babylon. For fear was upon them because of the people in those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord, even burnt offerings morning and evening. They were doing it round the clock. They kept also the Feast of the Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required. And afterward offered the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons and of all the set feasts of the Lord that were consecrated, and of every one that willingly offered a free will offering unto the Lord. From the first day of the 7th month began they to offer burnt offerings unto the Lord, but the foundation of the temple of the Lord was not yet laid. They began sacrificing before the temple was even finished, before the foundation was even poured. They started sacrificing. They were eager to get that part started because they got a lot of sin to atone for, obviously. They gave money also unto the masons and to the carpenters, and meat and drink and oil unto them of Zidon, and to them of Tyre. Remember Tyre, the king of Tyre, Hiram Abiff, who would send things to Solomon to build the first temple. They're here again, working their little tails off. The people of that area of Tyre were hardworking fellers. To bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the Sea of Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyrus, king of Persia. Well, Joppa is a port out by the ocean, and they would come down from Lebanon to Joppa and then unload the ships, and then people would come from Jerusalem to pick up the cargo and take it back. That's the best way I can describe it. Look at a map. You can find Joppa pretty easy. It's a port. It's right on the coast. And then you can trace a line back to Jerusalem and see how far they had to go to toting trees. Now, in the second year of their coming unto the house of God at Jerusalem, in the second month began Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Jeshua the son of Jozadak, which means God's peace, and the remnant of their brethren, the priests and the Levites. That's not all of them, but they're there. And all they that were come out of the captivity unto Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upwards to set forward the work of the house of the Lord. It's time to get busy, fellas. Then stood Jeshua with his sons and his brethren, Kadmiel and his sons, the sons of Judah, together to set forward the workmen in the house of God, the sons of Henadad, with their sons and their brethren, the Levites. And when the builders laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord, they set the priests in their apparel with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals to praise the Lord, after the ordinance of David, king of Israel, as he did when the temple was first built. And they sang together by course in praising and giving thanks unto the Lord, because he is good. For his mercy endureth forever towards Israel. And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid. It was done. So they were happy. This is a celebration now. But many of the priests and the Levites and the chief of the fathers, who were ancient men, they were old, that had seen the first house, they'd been there before, when the foundation of this house was laid before their eyes, wept with a loud voice, and many shouted aloud for joy, so that the people could not discern the noise of the shout of joy from the noise of the weeping of the people. For the people shouted with a loud shout, and the noise was heard afar off. These people were emotional. Some of them had seen the first temple, seen it built, seen it destroyed, carried off into captivity, and then released, and then rebuilt the temple. So this is a coming home for them. Some people had never seen the original, so this was a new beginning for them, all of which are people who strongly love their Father and believe in their God and want this to occur. So this is a very emotional day for everyone. And you can't tell the noise, who's laughing and who's crying, but everybody's making some kind of racket. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do. And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. Well, didn't it say they were adversaries? Let's see how this works out. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus king of Persia, hath commanded us. No, you are our adversaries. Only a fool would allow the fox into the hen house. Come on, man. Who do you think we are? No, go build your own temple. We got this. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. It's a hard job. That's what they're saying. And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. And in the days of Artaxerxes, or Xerxes, wrote Bishlam, Mithredath, Zabiel, and the rest of their companions to Artaxerxes, king of Persia, or Xerxes. And the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai, the scribe, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, or Xerxes, the king, in this sort. Then wrote Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai, the scribe, and the rest of their companions, the Denites, the Apharsachites, the Tarpolites, and the Apharsites, and the Archavites, and the Babylonians, and the Susachinites, and the Dahavians, and the Elamites from Elam. I knew that one. And the rest of the nation, whom the great and noble Asnapper. There's a guy in the Bible named Asnapper. I'm just saying. Asnapper. Asnapper. The noble Asnapper brought over and set in the cities of Samaria and the rest that are on this side of the river, and at such a time. So apparently there's turmoil between the factions, and they're all writing to the king at the time to try to solve the problem or gain ground on whatever issue they're having at the time. This sounds like typical people behavior. Anytime you get a group of people trying to solve a problem and build a thing, there's different groups of people that want to do it their way, and everybody thinks they know everything. So at some point, you got to have somebody take charge, or you're just going to spin your wheels in the mud. If you got too many chiefs and not enough Indians, you got a problem. So that's kind of what's going on here. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes, the king, thy servants, or Xerxes, the men on this side of the river, and at such a time. And here's the letter. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof and joined the foundations. Be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom. And so thou shalt in damage the revenue of the king. So thou shalt in damage the revenue of the kings, which that means we're going to hurt your money. Now, because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet or helpful for us to see the king's dishonor. It's not helpful. Therefore, we have sent and certified the king that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. So shalt thou find in the book of those records, and know that this city is a rebellious city and hurtful unto the king's province. and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time. For which cause was this city destroyed? So these are like zealots. These are people who believe in the old ways and don't like what they're seeing. The progress is going too fast. They're old and crotchety, and they don't like how everything is progressing beyond them, much like what's going on now in the world. And they are protesting the king, asking him to cease building. This city's a bad city. We don't want to rebuild this city. The city that is surrounding the house of the Lord, by the way, that would be Jerusalem. Continuing, they write, we certify the king that if this city be builded again and the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river. We will rebel against you if you build this city. Nobody on this side of the river is going to listen to you if you build that city. Then sent the king an answer unto Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwelt in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river. Peace, and at such time. The letter which ye sent unto us hath been plainly read before me. I understand your grievance. The letter has been read, and I grasp the concept of what's going on. And I commanded, and search hath been made, and it is found that this city of old time hath made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. I hear you. I'm with you. I get what you're saying. I did look in the records, and yes, you're right. This is a bad place. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them. You did it for them, you're going to do it for me. Basically what he's saying here. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, that the city be not builded, until another commandment shall be given from me. Stop work right now. I'm going to do some thinking on this, and when I get back to you, you can get back to work, because I'll have an answer for you. Take heed now that you fail not to do this. Make certain you're paying attention to what I'm telling you, because I mean what I'm saying. I'm only going to say it once. Take heed that you listen. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings? Now, when the copy of King Xerxes or Artaxerxes, try to say that word, Artaxerxes, Xerxes, same guy. When his letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power. They stopped the work at all cost. Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So Xerxes kicked the can down the road. He didn't want to deal with this. Y'all just stop building for a little while, and I'll deal with it later. And then he goes out, and a new guy comes in. You get to deal with it. Okay. Keep in mind, this whole time, the temple is not being rebuilt. Its work has stopped. Then the prophets Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, the son of Iddo, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, even unto them. Then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, which means God's peace, and began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. And with them were the prophets of God helping them. We're going to finish this job one way or another. It doesn't matter if this is a bad city. This ain't a bad house. We're going to build it. I wonder if the kings are going to like this, though, because they told them to stop, because they complained about it. And at the same time came to them Tatnai, governor on this side of the river, and Shetharbonzai, and their companions, and said unto them, Who hath commanded you to build this house, and to make up this wall? Then said we unto them after this manner, What are the names of the men that make this building? But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, that they could not cause them to cease, till the matter came to Darius, the king of Persia. And then they returned answer by letter concerning this matter. So they are not going to heed the warning of these governors. They're just going to keep right on building. The governor doesn't have power to stop them. Darius, the king, does. So they're going to write king a letter and try to smooth this over because they've continued working on the temple when the previous king had told them to stop work on everything. The copy of the letter that Tatnai, governor on this side of the river, and Shethar-Banzai and his companions and the Arphaxadites, however you say that word, I think I said that right, Arphaxadites, that's it, which were on this side of the river. Which river are we talking about, by the way? Jordan, so you know. Sent unto Darius the king, they sent a letter unto him, wherein was written thus unto Darius the king, all peace. Be it known unto the king, this is the letter, that we went into the province of Judea, to the house of the great God, which is builded with great stones, and timber is laid in the walls, and this work goeth fast on, and prospereth in their hands. Then asked we those elders, and said unto them thus, Who commanded you to build this house, and to make up these walls? We asked their names also to certify thee, that we might write the names of the men that were the chief of them. We want to know who's giving the orders around here. And thus they returned us answering, saying, We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and build the house that was builded these many years ago, which a great king of Israel builded and set up. But after that, our fathers had provoked the God of heaven unto wrath. He gave them into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house and carried the people away into Babylon. But in the first year of Cyrus, king of Babylon, the same king made a decree to build this house of God, and the vessels also of gold and silver and of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple that was in Jerusalem, and brought them into the temple of Babylon. Those did King Cyrus take out of the temple of Babylon, and they were delivered unto one whose name was Sheshbazzar, who he had made governor, and said unto him, Take these vessels, go, carry them into the temple that is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be builded in his place. Put it back where it belongs. Rebuild the temple we destroyed. It's time to move on with the problems that we've caused, our ancestors. Then came the same Sheshbazzar and laid the foundations of the house of God, which is in at Jerusalem. And since that time, even until now, hath it been in building. We have been in progress this whole time, and yet it is not finished. It's not finished because red tape and bureaucracy has caused us to stop working. They stopped us with force not too long ago, made us stop. OSHA came in and gave us a fine or something, whatever. We can't build. So since King Cyrus, this building has been in construction, and yet it's not finished. There's no reason it shouldn't be finished. We're here to build it, so we're going to build it. We're going to finish it. Now, therefore, if it seems good to the king, let there be search made in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether it be so that a decree was made of Cyrus king to build this house of God at Jerusalem. Go look in your records and see that King Cyrus told us to build this house. That way you should have no problem with allowing us to continue building this house. And let the king send his pleasure to us concerning the matter. When you figure it out, that this has already been ordered by a previous king, then you can get back to us. They totally put this king in his place. Or did they? We'll see. Then that was good. Then Darius, the king, made a decree, and search was made of the house of the rolls, where the treasures were laid up in Babylon. And there was found at Archmetha in the palace that is in the province of the Medes a roll. Medes, those are a very, very rich family that has been living in that area for a long time, and they ended up in Italy, but they began in other places. So those the same Medes. Anyway, they found the scroll, and therein was the record, thus written. In the first year of Cyrus, the king of the same, Cyrus, the king made a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be builded, the place where they offered sacrifices, and let the foundations thereof be strongly laid, the height thereof 80 cubits, the breadth thereof 80 cubits, with 3 rows of great stones and a row of new timber. Let the expenses be given out of the king's house. And also let the golden and silver vessels of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took forth out of the temple which was at Jerusalem and brought unto Babylon, be restored and brought again unto the temple which is at Jerusalem, everyone to his place, and place them in the house of God. Yes, proof positive, it's happening. Now, therefore, Tatnai, governor beyond the river, Shethar-Bonzai, and your companies in the Apharsachites, which are beyond the river, be ye far from thence. Let the work of this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews build this house of God in his place. That is the request. And I believe that Darius is obligated to do so. So he's going to. Moreover, says Darius, I make a decree that ye shall do to the elders of the Jews for the building of the house of God, that of the king's goods, even of the tribute beyond the river, forthwith expenses be given unto these men, that they be not hindered. Pay them, says Darius. Give them some money so they can get done in a hurry. Do not get in the way. This is a decree from the previous king, and I'm not about to change his executive order. I'm going to continue it. So now you have a good inside baseball understanding of how politics works in those days, much like they work now. If you've ever wondered how our presidents function and how come one can do one thing and another one will do some other stuff but leave that thing alone when he's in opposition to it, but yet he has the power to change it, but he don't. That's why, because you don't, my mama used to say, you don't crap where you lay. You know, you do that outside the camp, because if you soil where you lay, you're going to be laying in soiled linen, you know. April, what's up, dear? Good to see you. Hello, y'all. So sorry I'm late. I was listening in Kevin's phone. Much love. How is everyone? Fantastic. Amanda says, hi, April. April says, LOL, Amanda, much love. I saw what you said about falling asleep when the Bucks were playing. Ah, ha, ha, ha. I was too. That was boring. Amanda says, LOL, right, April? I get up at 6:30 a.m. on Sundays to go to church, so I am tired by 12 when I get home. April says, I will go back and rewatch Jake with my Bible. I'm sorry I've had much going on. Please forgive me for being late, and I pray Jesus forgives me too. Well, he does, and I do too. It's quite all right, sweetheart. I love you. Thank you for saying so. Amanda says, at least you made it, April. April says, wow, I'm happy you go, Amanda. That's inspiring. She's in church right now, too, so that's twice today. All right. I think that's about far enough for one night. Let's get to the bottom of the page, and we'll continue tomorrow. So he says, give them money. Make sure they're paid. Make sure they can work. Don't hinder them in any way. And that which they have need of. both young bullocks and rams and lambs for the burnt offerings of the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem. Let it be given them day by day without fail, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet savor unto the God of heaven, and pray for the life of the king and his sons, King Darius. Why do you think that a Babylonian king is so worried about what these Jews are doing over there in Jerusalem, which is not in Babylon? Has nothing to do with him. Why do you think he is so willing to give them of everything they have need of on the word of the previous king? I'll tell you why. Because word gets around, baby, and everybody knows the power of God. Everybody has witnessed it, seen it time and time and time again, watched him destroy entire civilizations for standing up to Jerusalem or standing in their way when they were sent somewhere. Watched the land of Canaan be given to them, watched them pulled up out of Egypt, and Egypt utterly destroyed by the strong arm of God. Everybody in those days knew who God was. They might not have believed in him, that might not have been their God, but they knew who he was. This king and the king before him and the king before him has made it up in their minds. They're not going to go against this God. They might not be following all his ways. They might not be Jewish, but they're not going to piss that guy off. We're going to be nice, gentle, calm. We're going to give back everything we took in the past. And if you could pray for us, that'd be nice, because if that guy has the power that you say he has, we don't want to be on the losing side of that power. So let that be a inspiration to you all, knowing that God has that kind of reach, that even people in other countries that don't believe in him at all will show obeisance when they know his wrath is upon them. That's the kind of God you serve. That's the power of Almighty God. And it lasts through the ages, so much so that we're talking about it today, almost 3,000 years later. And it will continue to be talking about it on into the future, because it will never be forgotten. I defy you to write something down on paper and have somebody recite it a week from now. It won't happen. Nothing you write is going to be that interesting or that true. But these words, word for word, thousands of years later, still being read, because they meant something. They were real. Put your faith in God. Put your trust in his word. Walk like you believe what he says, and watch it alter everything about your world. It'll open your eyes to the reality that's before you, which has been carefully crafted and made to look like something else to lead you into the trough. You are not a servant. You are of God. Don't be a servant. Open your eyes. Won't you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's effortless. It's right in front of you. There's 8 people here and only 5 likes. Come on, hit that like button. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into our family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me. Drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the word of God and you can see the value in what I'm trying to build here, and you'd like to be part of something special, or if you feel led to send your offerings, love offerings or tithes to this humble ministry, or if you just like to pat me on the back and say, hey, good job, Jake, I see what you're doing and I got your back, you can do that. You can support my work by going to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand, paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Or if you're a Cash App user, you can go to $Jake Johnson Band, $Jake Johnson Band. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing to me. But we live in a reciprocal universe, and I promise you it's a blessing to you too, because God notices these things. Now, I will do everything in my power to be worthy of that support. I will answer all your questions, all your comments. I will address all your criticisms. I will fulfill all your requests. I will learn what I don't know that you want to know. I will find answers that you seek. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing. That's the service I give you. Now, let's get to it. Answers, questions, comments, criticisms, catharses. Anything else that starts with a C? Bring it on. April says, hit that like button, subscribe, share, and support Jake. He works hard. It's the right thing to do. All right, let me scroll up and see what I missed. April says, amen. Amanda says, I go to church over your way, April. Where? Says April, off Hallam Heights, Highlands. 540A, says Amanda. The church by Gators on 540. Okay, just before Gators, right. Yarborough. I used to live in Yarborough. Is that Highland City? Little road off of Highland City? Yeah, I used to live down there. Anyway. Oh, yeah, okay. Now I know where that is, says April. Nice. Yes, Amanda says. April says, hit the like button, subscribe, share, and support. To whoever I missed in chat, I love you all true. Say something, y'all, please, says April. Well, I love you all true, too. Anybody got any questions about what we read tonight? Did you learn anything? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel like your brain is turning to mayonnaise? You tell me what's on your mind. Sweet dreams, everyone, with lots of love, Deb. Well, sweet dreams. You ain't got to leave now. Talk. This is the part where we get to talk. You going to leave because I can talk to you now? Or, go have a good night's sleep. Whatever you want to do. I'm just saying. Amanda says, night, Margie. Lisa Reen says, you did well reading all those names. Phew. I'm telling you what, I have a tired tongue. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that you recognize that it is difficult. Not too difficult, but I could be digging ditches, so I'll pronounce a few hard words. It's quite all right. Although digging ditches would probably pay my light bill. Anyway, I love you too, Aunt Deb, says April. You don't choose the life you've been given, you just live it. And I didn't ask for this. This is just what was required of me. So here I am, doing my job. I'm the highway patrol. April says, LOL, Jake, right? And which I hope that you appreciate that, because this is for you. It is not for me. And I'm happy. I'm happy about it. I'm happy that I get to do it. I'm not complaining. Don't misread that. It's not a complaint. It's just an observation. It sounded like a complaint. I apologize. I didn't mean it that way. Just responding to the statement. It is hard to read some of those names. But after I've done it a couple times, it won't be hard anymore. That's a good thing. And I've done it a bunch of times. I've just never read them out loud before. That's the difference. It's easy to say something in your mind because you can yada yada right past it. Yeah, it starts with a Y. Good enough. You got to say it when you're saying it. Oh, but we live in a reciprocal world. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I'm happy you're happy, says April. LOL, Lisa. Yes, we do live in a reciprocal world. And what that means is, in case you don't understand my language, you do, obviously. Whatever you put into this world comes back to you. Whatever you do causes something to happen. It's a reciprocal universe that we live in. You give and you receive. You ask, you will be answered. You knock, the door will be opened. That's how it works. It says so in the Bible. It blesses us and blesses you too, Jake. Thanks. My pleasure, sweetheart. My pleasure. I wouldn't have it any other way. I was not complaining. It just sounded that way. Upside down, says April. Huh? Upside down? What are you talking about? Inside, upside down, living la vida loca. Is that what you're saying? Great read, Jake. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. Great listen. Mr. Sandman is very friendly, says Margie. You guys are saying some random things. What are you talking about? Mr. Sandman is very friendly. That mean that you're getting really sleepy? Is that what you're saying? See, I'm from a different generation. Mr. Sandman to me is a Metallica song, and it's a demon under your bed. So I don't. You're like a Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. I'm from look under your bed, you know. So I think I understand what you're saying is what I'm saying. No, I'm just saying some of these JBTP are nuts. What is a JBTP? Some of these JBTP. Somebody help me out with that. I don't speak modern lingo. Jeb Bush taxpayers? I don't know what that means. Never mind. You can't say something like that and then tell me never mind. What are you talking about? Spit it out, young lady. I can't read your mind. And I'm going to be thinking all night, what does JBTP mean? You can't tell an OCD person something like that and then say never mind. That doesn't work that way. I'll be on that for the next 2 weeks. That's all I can think about now. Bueller. McFly. Jackboot thug pigs. Coppers. Okay. I would have never gotten that. Why would you say something like that? I don't watch that guy. I don't know what a JBTP is. But you're right. They are crazy. I just had a kitty show up at my front door talking. I thought it was mice. I thought it was mine. Weird. Oh, I have kitties show up at my door all the time. I feed them and pet them, and they keep showing up, and they keep going away. Oh, Lisa, that's a sign, says April, or it's a cat that's hungry. But it might be a sign. Could be. Feed Jake. Just being truthful. I don't know the P part, says April. Just being true. No, it ain't. It's a jackboot thug pig, apparently. I would have never gotten that. Jackboot, meaning boot of the Nazis. Made by Hugo Boss. Interestingly enough, did you know Hitler had a designer and it was Hugo Boss? Did you know that? Or do you wear Hugo Boss? Do you know you're wearing Nazi paraphernalia? Never heard it before. Me neither. That's all right though. April knew what she was talking about. I just got lost in the weeds. That's okay. I do that to you guys all night long. Least you can do is do it to me every now and then. I don't mind at all. Just need clarification occasionally. April says, Jake, LOL, no way. It's true. Look it up. I have 2 cats, I assume. It is eating on my porch now, but my big old boy Siamese would fight so it cannot come in. I hear you. I don't let the cats in my house. I hadn't gone completely crazy yet, but they do come up to the back porch twice a day ready to eat, and they don't like it when I'm late. So I can feel you on that one. My Nazi designer is Hans. Oh, yeah? Ha, you meant I got you on one. OMG, yes, you got me on one, April. Got me good. I didn't know what you were talking about. Yep, Hugo Boss is the designer of all those cool Nazi uniforms that they wore back in the 40s. They're all sleek and leather and pointy. You know, look at the pictures. You know what I'm talking about. Hugo Boss. Wonder how he stayed in business. Also, there was some discrepancy with BMW and the Volkswagen. They stayed in business too, oddly enough. And Hitler is the guy who had the Autobahn built. So if you've ever lived in Germany and you've driven on the Autobahn, that was put there to make his traveling easier. He had it commissioned. Interestingly enough. Don't know why that matters. Just pointing it out. The Hugo Boss thing, though, took me by surprise when I learned that. I didn't know that. Sure enough. Apparently, they wanted to be in style. I don't like BMWs. I don't either. I like one BMW. Excuse me. One BMW they came out with was pretty cool. The rest of them, not so much. Amanda says, I don't care for Hugo Boss, but I do like some of his colognes. They smell so good. I prefer Curve or Stetson. Sierra. I'm old school. I still like the green stuff you buy at the drugstore. Aftershave. You know the kind. It has a name like green stuff or aftershave or something like that. I don't know what it is. It's green. Burns when you put it on your skin. Smells like Irish Spring. I love it. Wrinkle your nose? You wrinkle your nose. Polo. Ha-ha. You would like polo. I don't think my nose wrinkles. My lips wrinkle and my eyebrows wrinkle, but I don't think my nose does anything. Nope. Wow. Hey, did you hear the world's biggest water slide? I saw something about it on YouTube. I feel sick now, says April. I did not hear. Amanda says, and that spot on your cheek is a reflection from your glasses, by the way. I beg to differ with you. It is not. It might be. I don't know. Dracar Noir, says Fab Daddy. Dracar. I actually like Dracar. Kevin loves the green polo. Yeah. It may very well be. 2 sprays with polo and April is all over me. Oh, yeah. Tell him, April. And hi, Fab, says Amanda. And I absolutely agree. I love Dakar. That's so 1993. Amanda says, it is. I saw it when you were reading. Okay, that may be. It just looks like a spot on my face. Anyway, I might need to adjust my lighting. I also noticed that I have a reflection in my glasses. It's pretty strong. Don't like that too much. It does smell good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got a damn good show. Oh, yeah. That's the year Devin was born. Dracar. I'm a pretty stick-to-it kind of guy. Whatever I do it that way all the time. So I would have the same color shirt if I could find enough of them. Every day. But I can tolerate Curve and I can tolerate Sierra. So I wear those 2 things. Smells good with the oils in my skin. I hadn't found anything that works better, that don't make me odorous. I don't like odorous colognes that waft behind me and leave a vapor trail as I'm walking. I don't like that. I like it to be subtle and sweet and go, oh, you smell good. I like that. Fab Daddy, how are you tonight, says April. Kevin Cox says, David and Solomon were both polo green guys. Where are they now? April says, good to see you. Fab Daddy says, I just got done gaming with friends. What game were you playing? Inquiring minds want to know. Cool, says April. Lisa Reen still says, I still have a weakness for Old Spice. I like Old Spice, but it's a little old school for my taste, but it does smell good. So, you can't beat that. Fab Daddy says, I play PUBG Mobile. Amanda says, yes, Lisa Reen and Stetson, always. I said that. That's what Sierra is, Stetson. I like it too, Lisa, says April. Or maybe I need to start wearing Old Spice. It's a little spicy for me, though. I don't like to smell fruity, and I don't like to smell cologne. I like to smell airy, if that makes any sense. True that, Amanda, says Lisa Reen. I use Irish Spring soap, and I use the green deodorant. I like green for some reason. Things that are green smell good to me. I don't know why. I wear Chanel number 5, says Fab Daddy. You would, you dirty old man. You probably wear cool water from the gas station. Fresh, says Amanda. Okay. I like my scent to tickle your insides. It rubs off on me from the hoe I bought. Oh, really? Well, that's not very nice. Oh, dang, Fab, says Amanda. LOL. I get mine for free. I'm just saying. That's not true. Nothing's free, but you know what I mean. No upfront investment. Put it that way. No woman is free because all women are looking for a man that can provide for them. And they can build them a home. So you better have some money. Or some ambition. Or something. Trust fund, something. Women like to know that they're protected and taken care of and that they don't have to worry about the lights getting cut off next week. They like that. That does something to them. Hoes don't have to worry about that sort of thing. I broke the handle on my old hoe. Wow. Laying it to it, were you? Putting down the pipe. Doing some serious gardening. But if you have a hoe, she ain't worried about the lights getting cut off. But you shouldn't be worried about having breakfast in the morning because it ain't going to happen. When a woman goes to college, they often look for a Mrs. degree, MRS degree. I don't know what that is, Kevin. I think most of them do some kind of gender studies or something because it's easier to do. What is an MRS degree? That's very true, Jake. And it's a big thrill if said man can fix stuff or build stuff, says Elisa Rain. Yes, you want to get a woman to just jump your bones, build her a table and let her watch you do it. There's something about that. But I'm not being sexist here. You have to do the thing that she's looking for. You have to be preventative. You have to get out there and go to work every day. You have to bring home the bacon and hand it to her to handle the business because she is looking to nurture her home and to nest egg. That's what women do naturally. I'm not saying all women. There are exceptions to the rule. A woman can do anything a man can do for the most part, except for stand up and pee, and some of them can do that. But you can't write your name in the snow. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the typical behavior of typical people. Man needs to get out and provide. Woman needs to stay home and nurture. Sometimes they intertwine and intermingle and intermix, and if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, and all things to consenting adults. But if you want to live in harmony, get up at 5 o'clock and go to work every morning. And when you get home, expect it to be clean and well kept. Simple as that. Don't slouch on your responsibility, though. Take it as such. This is your job. Bring home the bacon. Keep the lights on. Keep the home protected. Keep her feeling safe and loved and needed, and she will give you everything your heart desires because you don't want that much. Amanda says, I agree, Jake. Thank you. Definitely build her a table, though. She likes that. Well said, Jake. Thank you, man. That's the way it was designed to be, and that's the way it best works. There are other ways to do it, and some people in this modern age prefer to do it that way. But I promise you, the best harmony, the best peace, the best complementary life you can have is to do it the way it was designed to be done. You can't go wrong with what's right. Women and men are supposed to complement each other. They're supposed to be equally strong in separate areas. A real man, cannot live without a real woman. He can't do it. He can't function in the world. He can't get his ducks in a row. He's not a happy camper. He'll end up in a box playing the Nintendo or whatever for weeks on end. That's just the way it is. You give him purpose, he comes alive. He's able to produce. He's able to create, to contribute. That's when a man is at his best. Same thing with a woman. A real woman cannot live without a man. She just ends up having 100 cats and talking to herself and keeping her hair in curlers. It's not a pretty sight. They're not happy. But if you give her a purpose, she comes alive. She can provide a home. She can build a family. She can nurture her children. She can be the backbone of her man, because behind every great man is a greater woman. And you better believe that's true. Men and women are equally powerful, but in different ways. And why this has become a bone of contention in this modern world, I will never know, because it is beyond me. It is so obvious. It's like the tip of your nose. You can see it from where you are. Just look. Cold Creek Croft, what's up, my brother? Amanda says, absolutely. April says, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Yes. Cold Creek Croft says, the guy who was married how many times? Non sequitur. I know the woman may not have been optimal. No. I have been married 5 times. Twice to the same woman. That'll be 6 times when that occurs, but it'll occur. Trust me. To rebut that statement, though I know you were joking, I would say this. At this present moment, with the exception of a couple of people, this room is full of women that don't know me. Ask them if I'm wrong. The reason I'm right is because I've been married 5 times. I haven't always been this knowledgeable about how women work. It takes learning, and mistakes were made, and it wasn't always their fault. Most of the time it was, but it wasn't always their fault. I'm not a perfect man, but I'm learning and I'm growing. One day I'll make a great husband. Fab Daddy says, I want my woman to make more money than me. You might think that until she emasculates you and then has no respect for you and then ultimately cheats on you and then ultimately leaves you. Because a woman can't respect you if she's better than you. And if you allow that, then she is. Sasquatch, I think I lost my ducks. Oh no, well, go find your ducks. If they'll be back. Ducks are cyclical. They do the same thing every year. Amanda says, hi, Cole and Caucasian. April says, hi, Caucasian. Cold Creek says, howdy. Amanda says, April says, good to see you. MVTV, good to see you. Cole says, I believe I have the best attitude, respect, and understanding of women. Now, alone out here, I hear you. Well, you don't have to be alone. There's one for everybody. You just have to look hard enough. Even the weird ones. Believe me. Now listen to me. Believe me. I am a mental nutcase. I am, for lack of a better word, anal retentive. I am OCD out the wazoo. I think about things you would never even ponder on. And I do it a lot. And there's somebody for me. There'll be somebody for you too. Learning curve, says Cold Creek Croft. Yes, sir. Yeah, you don't just start off knowing how women work. You have to get there. And I don't know everything. I just know the main things. I love y'all, says April. Well, you love you too, honey. Cole says, hey, I cannot stomach people looking for a mate. I understand it, no foul. But for me, I have to fall hard and heavy to my lifelong peril and wonder. I hear you, brother. Fat Daddy says, you cannot emasculate you, any more than I do myself. I am secure like that. Not if you're emasculating yourself. And if she wants to cheat, go for it, babe. I will be better off knowing. Some men are like that. I can't argue with you. That ain't gonna happen in my house, but I can't argue with you. And if you like it that way, like I said, there are exceptions to the rule and everybody has their own way of doing things. But if you want it to be successful, you'll listen to old Jake. I know a thing or two. I've seen it happen enough times to know it's right. Some people don't even want to be in a serious relationship. Some people like playing house, and then when it gets serious, they bail. I can't account for, mental blockages and people who have not matured and that sort of thing. I'm not suggesting that everyone does exactly the same thing. I'm just saying that it was designed a certain way. A woman is to be a helpmeet for a man. What does that mean? In the Bible, the word meet means helper or helpful. Basically, what it's saying is that she is his backbone. Without her, he doesn't have the strength to face the world. She's what gives that to him. And if you use that in that context, a man can conquer anything because he believes in the woman behind him pushing him. And at times she's by his side. Read Ruth. Read Psalms. Read Proverbs. That'll tell you what a good woman is. A good woman will enrich her husband. She will do things to make him look bigger and better because she knows that he's out there in the world, and if he looks bigger and better, she looks bigger and better. And their whole family raises in status. So a good woman would be a landowner. She would be a business worker. She would have employees. She would have house people. And we're talking biblical. And a man would be out running his business and doing his thing and making his money and his wealth. And so would the woman be. But it all contributes to his household because he's the king of the castle. And she's aware of that. That's what a good woman does. She is the strength behind the king. Because a king can't be a king unless he has a subject. See how that works? A teacher cannot teach without a pupil. A boss can't boss without an employee. And a king can't king without a queen. It's just the way it is. Amanda says, I think women who cheat are whores and just nasty, my opinion. Well, I hear you. Coal Creek Cross says, I could not imagine living with another person anyway, although I'd give it a whirl for Gal Gadot. Amen, brother. Fat Daddy says, I won't stay, but I won't hate. I hear you. You do you, boo. I take it as a personal affront to my manliness. And I would never, ever indulge a woman that cheated on me, not even once. It's over. End of discussion. It's done. However, I give her the same respect. I would never cheat on her either. And believe me when I tell you, I could, but I won't. I don't need to. I don't have enough energy to. I don't even want two women. I couldn't handle it. One takes all the energy I got. But more than that, she would deserve my respect for giving me. See, cheating is a choice. Don't let anybody fool you into believing that some people just are predisposed to that. It's a choice, and you make it every day. Faithfulness. You choose to be who you are. You choose what you do with your life. You choose which direction you go. Don't let anybody tell you any different. That's a lie. It's a cop-out, and you know it deep in your heart. You make that choice every single day, and you do it because it's the right thing to do, or because it's the most beneficial thing for your circumstance, or because you respect the other person enough not to put your thing in places that don't belong, because they deserve it. As long as they deserve it and you have that respect, you have a beautiful relationship. It's when people lose respect for one another, and respect is a very important thing, and it's also very superficial, by the way. People will respect people because of who they are, and when they look behind the curtain and see that they're not really those people, that respect goes away, and there's nothing you can really do about that, except for don't build yourself up to be something you're not. Don't pretend to be more than you are. Just be who you are and be really good at that. And people will respect that. And you will command authority. You will command strength. You will command respect if you are who you are. If you put up a facade, if you pretend to be something you're not, if you try to hide the things that are wrong with you, it's only a matter of time. You're putting a clock on all of your relationships, because friends or lovers, they will eventually see behind the curtain. And when they do, they're not necessarily going to like what they see. And you know that's why you built the facade in the first place. Cole says, my last girlfriend has now been my best friend for the last 30 plus years. Helped her daughter grow up. Only regret living out here, but consider them my adopted family. Well, that's beautiful, Cole Creekcroft. It is. And if that's enough, then I bless you with that. I'm not telling you how to live. It takes all kinds to make the world go round, and not everybody can do it the right way or the same way. But there's always compromises. Caucasian says, Indians and chiefs. Right. Not enough Indians, too many chiefs. Fat Daddy says, first off, to be considered my woman, which I laugh at because we don't own other people, it requires trust. You don't think you own other people? What is ownership? What does that mean? Well, in today's society, it means to have a title. It means that it's your property. Well, what do you think a marriage certificate is? I want you to pull out a marriage certificate and hold it up against the title of your car and tell me what the differences between those two documents are. You are incorrect. You absolutely belong to your other partner, because biblically speaking, when two become married, they become one flesh. They belong to each other. They are intertwined. Their offspring will be of the same DNA, spiritually speaking. You absolutely belong to each other, and only you can destroy that bond. And if you choose to not belong to each other, it will not ever last. Only those who know they belong to each other last. Laugh at that. Amanda says, I think if you're in a relationship and feel the need to cheat, you need to leave the relationship immediately. Amen. That is correct. If you can't make that commitment every day to make the choice to be faithful, you should leave, because otherwise you are just prolonging the inevitable, because you already know it's over. It's over if you feel the need to cheat. It's over. You're just pretending it isn't. You should leave immediately. I agree with you 100%. And you should be adult enough to make that decision post-haste. Cole says, right on, Amanda. Always surprised at people hiring private detectives, etc. If it gets to that point of the suspicion alone, it's done, baby. That's my point. Dennis says, 2 at the same time once. Really? Boy, you were exhausted, weren't you? April says, I call them homewreckers, Amanda, but I can't. We shouldn't judge. I know it's hard consequences. But you don't have to. Well, I don't know if I agree with that or not. The Bible says don't judge, but I think that means don't judge one's soul. You use judgment every day of your life. Even Jesus did when he called people vipers. Oh, you den of vipers of your father, the devil. You know, that was a judgment. So You have to use discernment in your life. You have to make judgments. You have to discriminate against what's in front of you. Because if you don't, you won't be happy. You won't even learn what is happy if you don't do that. So I don't know if I agree with you shouldn't judge. Maybe you shouldn't judge to death. Maybe you shouldn't judge their soul. That's not your job. That's God's job. But if someone is evil or they bring evil into your life, you absolutely should judge it and get away from it. Amanda says, yes, Cole, the trust was gone long before you hired them. Mm-hmm. Amanda says, agreed, April. April says, always come back in time, you know? Mm-hmm. Goes both ways, says Cole Creekcroft. Had a patient's mom, children's mercy, show up at my house and throw herself at me, but was married and instead got some coffee and sent to her home to both our ultimate benefit. That is a man right there. It's hard to turn it down when it's in your face, but it's very good of you to have done so. You did not take advantage of the situation. That shows high marks on your character, sir. Amanda says, I was raised you should have more respect for yourself than to cheat for any reason. And I have lived by that 100%. Lisa Reen says, 3 husbands, 2 of which I married twice. I actually have been single now for almost 8 years, and I cannot imagine living any other way at this point. Lisa Reen, I feel you. I've been there. I have. And it is a scary proposition to go back into that field. But you deserve happiness, and you deserve love, and you deserve respect. And if you find it, by all means, jump into it with both feet and don't be shy, because you don't have but a few more chances to do that. Cole says, I believe she was also trying some kind of coping as her son went through a nightmare of treatment before passing. Sorry to hear that. April says, I agree. Walter Davis, how are you, sir? Good to see you, my friend. Good evening, all, says Walter. Amanda says, hi, Walter. Fab Daddy says, never marrying again. I will live in sin happily. Well, that's between you and God. That's not my job. April says, agreed. Dennis says, when you marry, you become one. It's a covenant with God. That's right, Dennis. One flesh. You absolutely belong to each other. If you break that trust, if you break that appointment, that is on you. If you choose to not believe it, that is on you. Walter says, hi, Jake, April, Amanda, Montana, Lisa Reen, Dennis, Fab Daddy, Dab. Who's Dab? Kevin? Deb, got it. Fab Daddy says, true, Walter. And I don't need a contract for that. Dennis says, yep. Was wore out. They were too. The 2 at once. I got you. Cole says, Walter Davis. April says, yes. I don't like talking about anyone. I hear you. Dennis says, Walter, peace. April says, yes. I just don't stay around it. That's right. Dennis, LOL, says April. Wow, I've been there too, Lisa. Dennis says, not scary, tiresome. Oh, I hear you. And you're young, sow your royal oats. Do what you got to do, man. It's when you need to settle down, when you're ready to end all of that, when you're ready to become a real adult and build your family. That's when you should marry, and not before then. I teach that you should marry young because your entire purpose for being in this world is to put people into the future. If you don't propagate the species, you're not contributing to the growth of the world. So I believe in that. But I also believe, at the same token, whether you're young or not, that when you marry, you should be ready to put your roots down, put a family together. You should not be open-ended at that point. You should close off the ending and put it into your family. That's a hard thing to do for young people, but time to grow up, make some babies. And as always, when babies are involved, it ain't about you anymore. There is no longer a you and me. There's only them. Period. Doesn't matter if you stay together or not. You are now parents. If you do anything other than what's best for those children, you're being a selfish bastard and you have no right to be here, in my opinion. April says, Walter, much love. And Walter says, what do you feel is the line between a friend of the opposite sex and cheating? I have close friends who are women, but we are just friends. Well, Walter, two things. Number one, I don't believe that men and women can be friends. Not straight men and women. I don't think you can be friends. Because friendship does not involve desire. And unless there's something wrong with the other person, and in a way that is utterly repulsive, you can't help but be desirous of another person of the opposite persuasion at some point. At some point, that line is going to get hairy, and when it does, and it will, you are no longer friends, and that is the line. The second thing is when your penis enters the vagina, that's pretty much the end of the line. You are no longer friends. You can do that metaphorically or you can do it physically. Either way, when you start thinking that way, you're not friends anymore. I don't think women and men can be friends unless they're having sex. You can be friends with your partner, but you shouldn't have other friends. That's my opinion. My opinion is worth what it's worth. That doesn't mean that's the way the world goes around. That's just how I feel about it. If I'm with a woman, I don't have female friends. Now, my case personally is a little different because I'm an entertainer and it's my job to sell sex. So, that's going to happen. But the woman that is with me, number one, trusts me implicitly, would never look over her shoulder at me because I have never given her a reason to not trust me. And two, fully understands because I tell her everything that I do, what my job is and how I do it. And also knows that when the doors close on the truck, I'm in it and it's going home. Period. But that's a little different. I have a line. It's just a little further up than most people's. If I were a normal person doing normal things, I would have no female friends because I have one. But that's my opinion. Take that as you will. Then it says, everything, home, spirit, purpose. Meaning the two people coming together as one, right? My wife is always questioning me. Do you give her a reason to question you? Do you question you? Have you thought about it? Only you know the answer to that. But chances are, if she's questioning you, one of two things are going on. Either she is a jealous freakazoid or you're doing something that makes her question you. I'm only speaking about normal people because I don't know who your wife is. I've never met her before. I don't know how other people react to things. I know me, so I'm going to use me as an example. If I think something weird is going on or I feel suspicious about you, it's because you're doing something that makes me feel suspicious. Now, me as a person, I will call you on it. I'll bring it up and have a face-to-face conversation about it. This is what's bothering me. This is why it's bothering me. What the hell's going on? And I will look in your eyes, and if you tell me the truth, I will believe you. But if you lie to me, that's it. That's the end of that conversation in perpetuity. Don't lie to me. It's as simple as that. You don't have to. I'm very understanding. I'm very open-minded. Do not lie to me. I don't need that. I don't have time for that. I'm pushing 50. If we're going to play those games, I'll just go somewhere else. That's how I feel about that. What say you? Been there too, says Coal Creek Croft to Dennis. But when much younger, quite drunk, and focused on one particular thing, while the other made busy work, ladies for hire, hard to split attentions. That's what I call multitasking at its highest level, says Goldberry Croft. I bet it does. Yeah, I bet so. April says, yes, amen, I agree. Nobody's perfect. We all have had our vices, flaws, mistakes, etc. I love you all, and it's a blessing we are here. I agree. Amanda says, well, Walter, you might be giving her something to question, or she's very insecure. That's the same thing I said. One of the two. There's the only two things that could be causing that. Then it says, they took turns, else it would have hurt me, LMAO. You must still be talking about the twosome you had before. Or really the onesome, but the mind works in mysterious ways. I'm just kidding. April says, exactly. Cole says, I'm just happy I made it. Out of all that without any STDs or regretful images I can't forget. Thank you, Lord, as it was close a few times. Fab Daddy says, yes, we can, Jake. We can be friends with women. Well, you go right ahead and try all you want, but you will find out that you are incorrect, sir. You cannot be friends with a woman. My opinion, again, if you disagree, you go ahead and try. I can't be friends with a woman. I'm talking of same age, opposite sex, I'm not talking about, being nice to people or being friendly with people. I mean, buddies, hanging out all the time, that kind of friends. You can be friends with a woman, obviously. I'm friends with lots of women in that vein. But I couldn't go hang out with them every day. I couldn't hang out at their house and be around them all the time and listen to their problems and all that sort of thing. Because you can't help but eventually get in that situation if you're straight and of equal age and, sometimes varies. I just don't think it's possible. I think it's very hard work. I think that if you were to do that, you would always be putting yourself in a position that could go very wrong very quickly under certain very specific circumstances that come up out of nowhere quickly without your permission. That's what I think. Amanda says, very well said, Jake. The world then revolves around the children, and both parents should be 100% involved, and the parents should leave anything of their problems on the table for the children regardless. I agree. 100%. Walter says, my first wife had real bad postpartum depression, was leaving suicide notes and disappearing with our son in the middle of the night. We split up because she wouldn't get help. I understand that, buddy. That's terrifying. It really is. I hope she got help. I hope that she's better. I have no desire except good intentions about God or politics, says Walter. That's excellent. And that's a hard line to walk, by the way, but it is a commitment. And like I said about cheating, it's a choice that you have to make every day. You don't think that I've had things happen in my life that made me question whether or not God had my best intentions or whether or not he was even there? Yes, I choose to believe until my faith kicks in, and then my faith carries it the rest of the way. But I have to sometimes walk that line on purpose because the world gets hard. And if you don't know everything, you question everything. Sometimes you just got to be strong in the face of adversity. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Abel says, amen. Cole says, my lady friend is absolutely my best friend without sex and issue whatsoever. But that was because we pretty much exhausted that path a lot long ago. So I guess it was an issue, but one of timing. So what you're saying with me is I'm absolutely right. You cannot be friends with somebody without crossing that line at some point. Doesn't mean you do it all the time. Doesn't mean you even do it. Only thing it means is that that possibility is there. And if you love the person you're with, you don't put yourself in a position where that possibility is there because it hurts them, not you, them. Amanda says, yes, absolutely. Walter says, I'm still close with my ex-wife. She finally got better after a few years. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. That's a terrifying thing to think about. April says, smiley face. Fat Daddy says, I can. Your lower head thinks too much. You have one of those too. Your upper head is denying the rest of it. Me thinks you protest too much. Write it down that I said so. And when you find yourself on the other side of screwing up, let me know I was right. Because there's a thing about that saying about the little head. Sometimes it takes over and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Unless you're not in that position in the first place. Sometimes you are powerless to your urges. Because you're male. And men have that problem. And if you put yourself in a position where that could happen, I promise you every time you do, you're rolling the dice. You may not do it now. You may not do it for a long time, but it's possible. And as long as it's possible, there's a door open. And as long as there's a door open, the person you're with is not, you're not being faithful to them. Faithful means you turn all of your attention to them. That's what faithful means. You don't get to screw up. You don't get to be in that position. You don't get to have that freedom. Because you're committed. You understand what I'm saying? It's a choice. It's not a sentence. It's a good choice, especially if it's a good woman. You give her that. You give her that part of you. You don't leave the door open. That's why you can't be friends with the opposite sex. Cold Creek Croft says, I'm talking, holy hell, 30 years this year. Her daughter is on her property and having kids now. She's 73, etc. Still looks fine, by the way. See Martha Stewart's selfie at 82 years old. Wow. You go, man. Are you sure you ain't thought about it? You sure it ain't come up? You sure it ain't just her that's saying no? Fat Daddy says, I like hanging out with my lady friends. And yes, some are hotties. There you go. You just screwed up. You left the door open and you think one of them's hot. That means you absolutely would have sex with her under the right conditions. That's not fair to your partner. That's what I mean. But we don't go there. They make great wingmen. Yes, they do. While you're out trying to get laid. That's what a wingman does. They help you get laid. Do you hear yourself talking? Either you don't know the meaning of the term wingman, or you're saying exactly what I said, only on the defensive side of it. Pat Daddy says, we don't go there. I got you. I got what you were saying. April says, yes. Cole says, I considered just about every female nurse I worked with for any time a friend. And you bet I had to visit the ice machines more than once a shift. Married or not. Them being married or not. Plus, RNs can defend themselves. What were you doing at the ice machine? Were you calming down the raging beast? The raging beast that wouldn't be there if you weren't in that position? Married or not? You see what I'm saying? You're arguing to the choir. You're agreeing with me. Both of you are. You just don't want to say it in those terms because that puts the onus on you. It's your decision to put yourself there. You can't be friends with someone of the opposite sex if you have a desire for that opposite sex, because eventually it's going to come up, and by up, I mean April says, smiley face, clap, clap, clap. Walter Davis says, my wife is next to me. AM. Hey, wife. Cole says, as you know, Jake, from your mom. Ooh, is that a mama joke? Or, oh no, I got you. The RN can defend themselves things. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Walter says, my wife is next to me and she loves your point. Thank you, wife. I appreciate that. Loves your point of view. Thank you. I'm trying to impart wisdom here. Surgical floor nurses took me on 3 overnight trips to other cities. All stayed in one room. Sex was not an issue. Sex was not an issue, or sex was not offered. Because I'm willing to bet $100 bill it was an issue. It just didn't get resolved. All stayed in one room. Sex was not an issue. Sex was the biggest issue. But I was only a mascot. Sigh. Still outstanding times. Yes, that's fine. I understand that. Not everybody is going to have sex with everybody else. But that doesn't mean the attraction isn't there. And that attraction, just thinking about it, is wrong to your partner if you're married. It was the only point I was making. If you are married, you belong to that person. You can't belong to anybody else. You can't offer yourself to anybody else. You can't think about or allow your mind to be in that position to think about anybody else. You're theirs. And if you want to be there, then you make that choice. If you don't, you're just prolonging the inevitable and it's already over. Point, set, match. Fat Daddy says, my best friend's sister is our age. She is my friend. Hot. But I can never hook up. It would be like incest. Are you telling me you think your sister was hot? I have a sister. I don't think she's hot. I think she's my sister. Sing a song, Jake. LOL. Everything you said about relationships here should be so basic, standard, and understood that it should go without saying, says Cold Creek Croft. Thank you, sir, I think. But here's the problem with that. If everything went without saying, I wouldn't have a job. My job is to say things. So I'm trying to come up with things to say. This is where the conversation went. So Lisa Reen says, shaking my head, man. I have had many male friends, and not a single one went without wanting to bed me. So I might not like Jake's point, but it's true. Thank you, Lisa Reen. And I'm not saying it because you dislike it. I'm just saying it because it's true. And I don't like it either, by the way. But that's the way we're wired. Amanda says, LOL, April. Well said, Cold Creek Croft, says Amanda. Fab Daddy says, my ex-stepsister and I almost kissed before our parents married. She was hot. Point, set, match. You just proved my point. Cole says, there are fundamental truths I understood and or learned fast. Amen, brother. I pulled away, not her, says Fab Daddy. Well, good for you. Good for you for making a grown-up choice. But it was a choice. Don't think that the urge wasn't there. And if you were married at that time, you would have cheated on your wife, which is the reason I said all of this, to answer the question, what is the line between cheating and friends? That's the line right there. And you chose to not cross it, but yet you had already crossed it because you were thinking about it. You just made the right decision. Now, what you should have done was turn and run for your wife and stay by her side and not put yourself in that position ever again to have to make that decision. That's the proper thing to do. I'm not saying we're all capable of doing that. I'm not even saying that you should do that. I'm just saying that's the proper thing to do. April says, Lisa, right on. Me too, love. Yes. Cole says, I've been friends with some ugly women I wouldn't bed if I was paid. Does that count? Yes, it does, because there's something wrong with that. And I believe I said that in the beginning. Unless there's something physically wrong with the person that you are just repulsed by them, you will consider having sex with them if under the right circumstances, is what I said. So yes, if she was butt-ass ugly and you just couldn't see her as an attractive human being, correct. That is the other side of the coin. And you could probably get away with being friends with her. But would you want to? Would you want to make her feel that way? Because eventually she's going to know she's not screwable. And that's going to hurt her feelings. Because, and hear me out when I say this, and I'm going to say something that's controversial and probably get a lot of backlash for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Everyone on planet Earth wants to have sex. Every one of us. Unless there's something wrong with us. If you are normal, if you are a human being of normal stature and appearance, you want to put it in something or have something put in you. And if you get the news that no one wants to do that, it hurts. Don't matter if you're male or female. That's the base level, the lizard brain thinking, not the more articulate, well, what about romance? What about love? He's down there going, whatever works, babe. You see what I'm saying? Cole says, well, back to Gal Gadot. Guess there's a line to it all. Last thing I would inflict on a woman now is myself. Except, yep. Yeah, Gal Gadot, you're probably right about that. I would not inflict myself upon a woman either. In fact, I don't want one in my presence unless she desires me. Unless she sees the worth in me. Unless she sees the value of having me. Unless she wants me in her life. That's the only way I would go. I would not inflict myself on anyone. So you're absolutely right about that. Not even Gal Gadot, although it would be tempting. Or the first Wonder Woman on TV. What was her name? Linda Carter. Nope, I didn't have that just loaded up and ready to shoot out. Linda Carter was her name. And wah, 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 woo. Belinda? Nope, Linda. Linda Carter. LYNDACARTER. Right, Linda. All right, boys and girls, it is now 10:17. That's 17 past the hour. I love you guys. Thank you so much for indulging me. Who is Gal Gadot, says Lisa Ring. She is the woman who played Wonder Woman in the new Marvel movies. So if you look up Wonder Woman, chances are her picture will pop up. She's been in several other movies too, but that's the most prominent role. Gal Gadot, the newest Wonder Woman. Yep. Thank you guys for having such a good conversation. Thank you for indulging my craziness, and thank you for being willing to go down the rabbit hole a little ways and talk about things that are a little uncomfortable. That shows what adults you are, and I appreciate that. And I mean that. I really do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support and your help and your friendship. It means the world to me. It really does. I love each and every one of you. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8:30 right here Eastern Standard Time on Untethered Live, where we will continue chapter 6, verse 11 in the great book of Ezra. Have a great night. God bless each and every one of you. May his grace abound in your lives, and may his light light your steps everywhere you go. Have a great night. God bless you all. Thanks for watching.